I'm a shadow of my former self. This is an area where I wish to make a new garden bed that I want to prepare for spring. And the first thing that I'm going to do is pull out these really nice cat's ears plants because I want to make a tincture from the roots, and I'll eat the greens. If you want to get these long tap roots out, what I've found is a good way to do it is to use the blade of a trowel like this and go around the soil, digging this in deep to break up the finer roots, and then use one of these nifty devices. So you put that spike around the central taproot, and then you lever it out, and if you're lucky, you will get the entire root. And you can use them. You can make coffee substitute, you can make a remedy, a tincture, all sorts of things like that. The fruits of one's labour. So some of these plants were sort of too young to have substantial tap roots, but they're still going to be great for the greens. But as you can see here, I persisted and I finally got a root. Boom, boom. Life is good. I've harvested all of these cat's ears weeds from the garden, which I can't get enough of, for eating in my cookery, and I have separated out the roots, these beautiful things, and I'm going to make a herbal tincture out of these. And the first step is to clean the dirt off the roots. I'm just soaking those in water for a while and cleaning them up a bit with my hands. And the next step would be to take them over this beautiful tea towel that has a red belly black snake on it. Here's some I already done. There's something to watch out for. I'm in Brisbane, so it's a very humid climate. It's hard to dry things by air because there's a strong possibility things will go mouldy. So if you have a dehydrator, that's good. You could also think about oven drying or microwave drying. But, always put things in a cool, airy spot, out of direct sunlight, probably, I think. And you can also just use them fresh. So the other ones I'm going to use fresh, but these are only maybe a week old. And there they are, drying out on the tea towel. I'm just lining up some balls here. I've bought some little bottles from a cheap shit shop, and I have bought a large bottle of vodka. Now, to make tinctures, you need 80% proof, which strangely means 40% or over. Vodka is probably best. Brandy is also passable. Unfortunately, these things are quite expensive, so you have to try and get them on special. The higher the alcohol, the better. A lot of them are 37% and silly things like that. They don't quite make the 80% proof mark, so try and get that. I should say, why am I doing this? Why am I making cat's ears root tincture? I could be making dandelion root, but I'm using a very close relative, cat's ears, because I have an abundance of it. Well, what this tincture is good for is primarily a digestive stimulant. It's said to be a cure for indigestion. So the digestive endocrine system, so the liver producing bile, the gallbladder holding bile, and bile being used to squirt into the stomach to aid in the digestion of fats, especially, and proteins and carbohydrates. So digestion is very important because that's how you get the nutrition from your food. It's also liver cooling, so a lot of people have liver problems. You've probably heard of the phrase shit on the liver. Makes you very grumpy if your liver isn't functioning very well. Perhaps you drink too much. I mean, you wouldn't catch me doing that, but some people do. It's also good for the pancreas, which is an endocrine thing that regulates insulin. So this tonic would be good for diabetics. So that's an overview of why I'm doing it. I'm just going to let these dry a little bit more before I come back to the next step. Hold that thought. All right, that's what I'm talking about. This is dry enough. Some of this is freshly picked yesterday. Some of it is from about a week ago. that's all right. So all I'm going to do, very simply, is I'm going to get some of these roots and I'm going to chop them up sort of fairly finely, like so. And I'm going to pop them in this little medicine bottle here that has a good one of those clampy lid things. Pop them in there with my popping powers. Like that. I'm going to make a pretty strong witch's brew. So I'll put more in a bit later, but just for not boring you to death with my menial work here, I'm going to get my 80% proof or 40% vodka that I got on special for $60, or 1 litre, which would go a long way. Just remember to hide the bottle on yourself. That's my problem. Pop it in there like that. I will put some more root in there. And there we have it. We'll let that sit for maybe 4 or 6 weeks. And we should have a good tonic, and you can take, you know, a teaspoon of that as a digestive aid and a medicine. Isn't that beautiful? Cat's ears root tincture, or you could use dandelion root as well. Thank you for watching.